Hello, it's Filo. Welcome back to my channel. In March I read few books, but I started with 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel García Márquez, and it's an all-time favorite. For this spread, I used the April Scrapbooking Club box that Grabby kindly sent me. This video is not sponsored, and you can use my code Filo15 for 15% off, and it's not an affiliate code. So clearly, I loved everything in this box. I used many different things, and I love the results. Hope you will love it too. Now let's talk about the book. So it's magical realism meets utopia and dystopia. In a way, it's a Latin American retelling of the Bible, not that you need to have read the Bible before, but it's full of myths and hyperboles. It reads like a grandmother telling the anecdotes of the family and the whole town. So it's very fast-paced, very funny, full of plot twists at every turn of the page. And let's not talk about the family tree, because I've needed to take notes to keep track of it. Now I understand why this author has a Nobel Prize, because he was a genius. I can't even fathom how someone could imagine such a deep and meaningful story and write it so well, in a way that's so surprising and fun, modern, but also eternal. Through disgraces and a lot of bad decisions, he talks about everything: family, humanity, the cycle of life, inventions and modernism, love, friendship, fears, guilt, and of course, solitude in any way, shape or form. And of course, let's not forget about generosity and hospitality. I could write a whole thesis about it. I loved it. As always, I try and create a specific customized spread for every book. And this one was so full of symbols, it was a bit overwhelming, but I think that's what makes this spread so full in the end, and only by watching it, it reminds me of so many details of the book. This little guy represents the founder of Macondo with his passion for inventions. But you also have a lot of birds, butterflies and flowers, of course, as well as the ever-present sewing work. I enjoyed creating this page as much as I enjoyed reading the book, looking how to include everything that reminded me of the story, cutting, ripping and pasting. I was thinking about this story the whole time. And then I wanted to keep memory of so many lines of the book, so I came back to the book and read every single sentence I annotated, and those were a lot. So yeah, it took me some time, but I enjoyed it so much. I feel very lucky that I was able to read this book in Spanish, in the original language, because I think that it adds a lot to the atmosphere. But if you don't speak Spanish, it's not a problem, because it's a modern classic, so you can read it in almost every language. And you should! It's about 500 pages and it's so fast-paced that I don't think you can really read it in 3 or 4 sittings. I think you need more time, so keep that in mind. So yeah, I could go on and on about it, but I will stop now because I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. And I also think that you should start reading it without knowing much about it, like I did, and you will enjoy it a lot. So that's why, even though I talked a lot, I kept everything pretty vague. Then I read The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince d'Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. Because yes, I'm French, but I had never read it entirely. It's a very famous and unique story that brought back a lot of memories for me because when I was, I think, 9, we had to play it at school. That's why I had never read it entirely because I didn't like the play and I didn't like the little prince. He asks many questions and never answers one, so I found him a bit rude. At that time, I think I didn't grasp fully the moral of the story, so I didn't enjoy it. Sadly, what happens now is the opposite. I grasp the moral of the story, but there's not much to get from the adventures in itself. They were too short for me to enjoy, and maybe I did feel a bit too old for them too. So it feels like he very quickly jumps to the wise sentences I wasn't able to grasp when I was a child, but now I don't get enough from the adventures. So all in all, for me, it was okay. I know, very unpopular opinion, especially coming from me, a French person. But the story didn't leave me with much to think about. I felt like everything was already written somehow. And honestly, I think I will forget the details soon. With all of that said, I really loved the preamble dedicated to Leon Worth, a friend of Saint-Exupéry's. And then the first chapter is mainly about children and how you become an adult and how children see adults. And I really love that too. Even though I felt disappointed, I'm still glad I read it as an adult. I also recommend it if you're studying French, not only for the cultural aspect of it, but also because it's very easy to read and the chapters are short. So if you're studying French, you can start by reading Le Petit Prince. Even though we may not agree about the books, I hope that we agree about the spreads. So I hope you can still enjoy watching me create these pages with the papers, washi and stickers that I thought best fit to recall the adventures of the little prince. And now let's take a final look at those pages. I really hope you enjoyed this video and I'll see you in the next one. And in the meantime, enjoy reading!